This is the MMA Takes Podcast. With your host, Brian Petrie.
Hey, I'm dancing to my own theme song. What's up with the what's up, babe? Huh? How we feeling out there in the land of MMA misfits that listen to me talk about placing bets? What's up with the what's up, man? I'm excited to talk to you guys. Decent little card we got here, huh? Main event is absolutely fire. I'm talking fire. If you're an MMA fan and you don't like this main event, hit the bricks, babe. Hit the bricks, because this main event, it does something to me. We're going to break it down. I broke it down a little bit on Anakin Florian this week. I gave out my pick. I have some mixed feelings about it. We'll obviously get to that. Top to bottom, doing the whole card, giving my 3 locks, ending it with the slime ball. We hit almost a 5-1 last week, baby. This one, I think the slime ball, I'm a little ill prepared, but I think the slime ball is coming in around plus 300 something. Don't quote me on that. Lines have been moving. But I'm excited. This is a decent little card here. I know, listen, we're going to get this, guys. These cards are watered down. Look at the fight nights from a few years ago. UFC's building talent. Who says that maybe in, 2 years that Jarrett Gordon isn't as big as Justin Gaethje was, right? I know that's an exaggeration, or Natan Levy, or Tatsuro Taira, or Carlos Canadana, or Alexander Romanov, who could be future champ. We don't know. But there's fights, babe, and they're putting lines on it, so you know I'm putting money on it. First, listen, guys, I've been getting the show on Monday. We did the Ray, it's basically the Ray Longo show. We did the Anakin Florian show on Monday. Sworn with compliments. It's unbelievable, and I'm very humbled by it. Truly, I am. And but I gotta admit something to you. You know, this is a really tough thing to admit, but this is a safe space, right? This is the trust tree. You know what I mean? And I'm honest. I'm always going to be honest with you guys. You take time out of your day to listen to me. The least I can do is be authentic and be real and honest. I think I've gone full Hollywood. Yeah, I think I've gone. I haven't done anything yet. I haven't made shit, but I think I went full Hollywood. I hired somebody to cut my grass. Yeah, I know. That's tough for me to even admit right there. I've been cutting grass. I mean, when I was growing up, I came from a household where it was not strict. My parents are great. I was never grounded. I never really had chores. But the one thing I did was I cut that fucking grass. And my parents didn't have a very big yard. My yard's basically the same thing as my parents. It usually takes me 25, 30 minutes to cut my grass. And a couple years ago, a funny story. So my parents hired somebody. My stepdad gave it up years ago, and they had a lawnmower. That's what I used to use. And I was like, hey, I don't have a lawnmower for this house. The owners left the lawnmower. It kind of blew up. So I was like, hey, can I use your lawnmower? And they're like, he's like, yeah, it's great. It's a Toro. He's telling me how fucking great it is. He hasn't used it in a few years because they get the grass cut. This is the top of the line. I went and picked it up. He's like talking it up like it's the fucking best lawnmower ever invented. And then I literally cut half my grass and it blows up. And I'm not even exaggerating. The fucking engine blew up. It had no oil in it. He didn't put oil in it. The oil was like gone and it blew up. And so I had to go buy a lawnmower, and I bought like the cheapest one I could. It was like $140, $150. A little Honda push mower, not even a self-propel wheels where you can pull that lever and it kind of moves for you. Straight push lawnmower, cheap as you can get. Beat the piss out of this thing for the past few years, and she dead. She was dead last year. I barely got the last day I cut the grass. I forget, whatever month it was, October or whatever. The last time I cut the grass, I barely got it done. So, I'm looking at new lawnmowers. Your boy's doing well. He's hitting some numbers, hitting some nice little, plays here, got some nice little bankroll. And my buddy of mine, has an electric lawnmower at work, and he was going to let me test it out. And of course, I start researching electric lawnmowers, and I need the best one. There's ones like $500. And I'm all set, ready to buy it. And I go, Mother's Day's coming up. My wife's awesome. She's amazing. My mom they got new dogs, and one of her dogs chewed up her clutch. I want to buy my mom a clutch. So I'm like, should I really drop 500 bones on a lawnmower? And then I just put some feelers out there, put it on Facebook, and a friend of a friend's sons cut grass for the summer. It's not like a professional thing. They're like 16, 18 years old, trying to make a couple extra scratch for the summertime. And so they came over and cut the grass, did a wonderful job. Super nice kids. Tipped them well, paid them well, considering my yard's not that big. But I tell you what, I was sitting inside eating dinner. Wife made tacos the other night when they were cutting the grass, and I was just looking out at them. And I'm not, another thing that I need to admit that I'm not very proud of being a man is I just don't really care about my yard that much. Now, I don't keep trash in my yard, and I keep it cut, and I don't let it get overgrown or whatever. But I ain't sprinkling the yard. I ain't putting True Green on it. Wife's planted flowers a few times, but I just, I got the dad jokes. I'm a father of 2. I've been married for 6 years. I just don't got the yard bug yet. You know what I mean? Like, my father, he went through it. My father-in-law loves his yard. Like, my buddy of mine who owns his house down the street, he's all into it. And I'm just like, haven't got there yet. Don't really care. But eating tacos, watching these kids mow the lawn, I'm like, feeling like I felt pretty good about it. But then a little shame came over me because I'm 35 years old. It's a little tiny yard. I should be cutting the yard, but I'm fucking Hollywood now, baby. You know what I mean? No, in all seriousness though, Ray Longo, we recorded on Monday. He came after me, which is very rare. I usually follow Ray in the Ray Longo Minutes, usually what they kick the show off with. And so he followed me, and he's been complimentary before, and he was really complimentary compared me to Max Kellerman, which is a huge compliment. Max Kellerman, I knew him obviously through his boxing analysis. He's huge on ESPN, and Ray compared me to him when Max came up, and just incredibly complimentary of me, Ray Longo, the fucking legend. So as John Anik and Kenny, and then Heidi Dean, who works at the UFC, who's like one of the greatest people in the world, super awesome person. They have all been very complimentary of me. And honestly, like, I'm the type of person that really thrives off positive affirmation. I'm not I don't need like a drill sergeant telling me I suck to do better. All these compliments I'm getting, and even for the people that are now following me and people writing me these messages on Twitter saying, hey, I've been with you since day one. My buddy's giving me compliments. It's very overwhelming. And instead of getting a huge ego, which is what, I already have an ego. We all do. All men, all women, everyone has some kind of ego to them. I'm a very confident filled young man. But instead of, obviously like joking about going Hollywood and stuff, like these compliments of these very special people, these people who are very successful, and these people who are top of their fields and Hall of Famers and the best in the biz, giving me compliments only makes me want to work harder. It just makes me want to, I'm not fucking calling in and phoning stuff in or whatever. Like this is what I want to fucking do. You know what I mean? I was kind of mixed about it when I first started the podcast. It was a little bit of a slow burn. Didn't really get the traction I thought. I guess I had higher expectations or whatever. I was trying to manifest different things, but reality is I'm in a good spot now where John gave me a chance, and Kenny as well. And now I'm getting seen by people, and people are now listening to me, and it's very humbling and a crazy experience. And instead of just phoning it in and acting like I've made it, I haven't done shit. This is what I want to do though. I've known that for a while. I didn't know if I could hack it. I didn't know if I was talented enough. I didn't know if I was good enough. I thought my picks were good enough, but am I going to be good on camera? Can I speak well? And all that stuff's coming naturally to me. So, I'm all in. This is what I want to do. And I have some of the great people in this sport that are telling me that I do have a future in this. So I'm shooting for it, baby. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm shooting for it. I'm all the fuck in, and being all the way in is because of all the positive positive compliments I've gotten from several people, everyone on Twitter, even the negative comments. I love it. Feed me it, baby. You know what I mean? My parents, when I grew up, my mom thinks I'm the greatest thing in the world. Still does. I can't do no wrong in her eyes. My stepdad, the most negative guy in the world. So I'm super balanced. I grew up very balanced. It worked out perfect. But I'm all in, baby. I've known it from the start, but, with all these fucking incredible people telling me great things about me, and it's very humbling, and it makes me blush a little bit. It confirms my gut feeling that I need to do this. This is what I need to do. MMA is my life. Even if I wasn't sitting here talking to this microphone right now, I'd be picking fights. I'd be obsessed with fights. I mean, so Thank you. A long way about it. Thank you for all the people who have sent me great compliments and just reached out on Twitter and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And it's pretty cool, man. This is something that, it's a dream come true. And I haven't done anything yet. I haven't done anything. I'm going to keep getting better. Even if I don't make it, even if I don't go anywhere, I'll still have this podcast and I'm always going to be growing. I'm always going to be giving different fights. I'm always different types of breakdowns and try to get better. I'm not perfect. I need to really, lock it in. And maybe one of these days I'll go a perfect card. I'll go 3 cards in a row, perfect picks. I mean, can you imagine? You know what I mean? I have a lot of goals set out for myself right now. And I'm fucking motivated and ever, because how can Ray Longo not compliment you and light a fire under your ass? You know what I mean? So lit a fire under me. I've had the fire for a while, but now it's burning. And speaking of fire, let's get to these fire picks. So my card's going to be a little different. I printed this off a couple days ago. So if you're really kind of going by the book on Tapology, my card is a little different. So the first fight of the night, Alexander Romanov, minus 2,200. Last week he was 1,500. They saw him weigh in. They saw him jacked. They're like, oh, this dude's down 20 pounds. He ain't fucking around. He's fighting Chase Sherman. They were supposed to fight last Saturday. Something has happened to Chase. Chase is a plus 1,100. I don't know what happened to him. A medical emergency where he couldn't fight. There's a lot of rumors, maybe a panic attack. I don't know. Couldn't be that serious because they rebooked it. And I mean, listen, I was on Romanov before. I'm on Romanov again. You can't touch this guy anywhere. Him by finish, him by submission is absolutely blown the fuck up on the books. So DraftKings doesn't have any props available right now. I did see a prop available for him to finish, was like minus 600. It's just an avoid fight. It's just, it's just watch the fucking slaughter happen. You know what I mean? It's let Chase get paid and let Romanov Donkey Kong punch him into oblivion. I still see a submission happening. Maybe come Saturday, if there are props available and the submission looks kind of juicy, I'll throw it in there, because I see him pounding Chase out, wrapping up a neck, and taking it with him, or an arm or head and arm or whatever. He's taking fucking something home with Chase. Chase, you're missing a body part come Saturday, bro. Guarantee it. But listen, again, if your capper's giving this guy top ticket, if he's telling you to hammer him, cool. But any fucking guy on the street can do that. I actually think this is a pass. You can't touch this. It's too big everywhere. Props are big. The money line's big. These are heavyweights. Chase Sherman can go out there and fucking knock him out. Chase is a big boy. Got good leg kicks. Problem is he's very weak on the ground. Romanov is very good on the ground. That's why the line is this way. Plus, Romanov looks to be in incredible shape. I'm not touching this fight. The pick is Romanov. Again, unless I get like a 300 to 200 price on Romanov by submission, I'll throw that with some other props in a parlay, but probably not. I'm probably looking on a pass on this one, boys. But yeah, let's just watch Romanov work here, man. All right, next up. I've been getting made fun of how I pronounce names because I was born with marbles in my mouth. So we got a UFC debut here, Japanese fighter, Tatsuro Taira. This dude's interesting to me, right? I like this kid. Not a lot of Japanese fighters in MMA anymore, or at least in the UFC. Excuse me, they have Risen, they have Chito, but in ONE FC as well. But not a lot of Japanese fighters are in like the UFC like prime right now. And I'm such an old school guy that I love these, back in the Pride days. There was always a great Japanese fighter, Sakuraba. They had a lot of guys. TK back in the day with his wars with Bas Rutten, and then that fluke victory over Fedor. Like, Japanese to me symbolizes martial arts. It's a martial arts country. They're huge over there. They literally have the best boxing gloves in the world, winning boxing gloves. Unbelievable. They make it over there. They have great boxers right now. They have great kickboxers, but MMA is lacking. Enter this kid. He's 22 years old, 10-0. How many submissions he's got? He's all his wins by finish. Okay. So he's got two decisions. 8 out of his 10 are by finish. He's got a couple ground punches and then a couple triangle chokes, rear naked chokes. I looked up this guy because I didn't know who he was really. Comes from the Shooter organization. And I liked what I saw for a 22-year-old. Defensively, a little bit of a problem. Defensively, I think he can get a little wild. Got a good leg kick. His boxing's coming along. But overall, I think he's kind of a solid little prospect here. And I like it. I'm rooting for this Japanese guy to come over because it's very nostalgic to me. When I was Speaking about when I was saying I was all in trying to do this. Back in high school, horrible grades because I was obsessed with MMA. All I did was go on Sherdog in the underground and fight about Pride versus UFC and who would win, Chuck and Vanderlei. And literally, like, I became so obsessed from you. I could literally, because after UFC 100, I started drinking alcohol, so it becomes fuzzy. But we should do this on the podcast. I'll have Christian over, or not over, I'll have Christian on or someone, and they can read off UFC 40 to UFC 100. For those 60 events, I could tell you who the main event was, and I can tell you how that person won the main event. And if I really search, I could tell you the round. So for 6, I was addicted, right? And then after UFC 100, again, I started drinking, chicks involved, whatever. Still was obsessed, but my memory became compromised a little bit. But I love that a Japanese fighter is getting a little bit of hype right now. He's in the UFC, making his debut against Carlos Candelera. This gentleman's had 2 shots in the Contender Series. He won the Contender Series decision, Dana White's contender back in 2017. Took 4 years off, 4 years off, gets a fight, then gets back in the Contender Series, loses, and now he gets a shot in the UFC. Victor Altamirano was a fight he lost by split decision. It was a very, very close fight. But Taira here, if I have time, I got to learn how to pronounce this guy's name because I'm big on him. I saw him on, he looks to me in tremendous shape. Saw him on Instagram and Twitter. He's got like a bowl cut, like rocking a straight bowl cut. And he's doing some kind of shaka, it wasn't praying, but energy thing. Looks to me in great shape. I like this kid a lot here. Minus 240. He was up in the 300s, I believe, a couple days ago. Minus 240. Let's see what he sits at now. Minus 235. So the price is going down a little bit. Some people might like Carlos here. I think the biggest issue in this fight is Tatsuro's got to be careful in the striking. He's pretty sure of himself. He's good, but defensively, he can leave himself open. I'm a little worried about that. But offensively, he's great. His wrestling's a little weak as well. But if he gets to the ground, he fucking goes for it. He creates scrambles on the feet. He'll backpack you. He could drop you and then get you on the ground. He's really good on the ground for 22 years old. This is a nice little prospect here. Not going to be a parlay piece because he's a newcomer. He's 22. He's 10-0, making his debut. Could be a lot of jitters. A lot of stuff need to be answered, but he is my send him home.
Send him home. Send him home early.
I think he's going to finish Carlos here. And Carlos, I think, is a pretty durable dude, pretty solid everywhere. It just doesn't blow me away anywhere. Took those 4 years off. I don't know if there was injuries, if what happened. Maybe he's just trying to get better. He's 30 years old, wasted some of his prime, in my opinion. I like Tatsuro here by probably submission because that's his go-to. Let's see if the props are available for my guys here. No props available right now on DraftKings. Over 2.5 as a minus 115, under 2.5. So it's a dead pick from over under. Don't really have a good read on that, but I do like Tatsuro here by submission. So that's going to be something interesting. Maybe I'll do a prop show again on Friday since I'm not getting any props right now from DraftKings. Can't really see them, but Tatsuro, again, I'm getting a nostalgic vibe, baby. Pride never dies, baby. Next up, another name I'm going to fucking struggle here. Johan Lanisi. Fucking nailed it. Gabe Green nailed that. Lohan is plus 125. Gabe Green minus 145. Saw a lot of Gabe Green love this week. And I think this fight, did this jump up? No, it's sorry. So I saw a lot of Gabe Green love this week. A lot of official picks, early picks were Gabe Green this. 2 fights in the UFC, dropped his debut to Daniel Rodriguez, and then had a really good win over Philip Rowe, who I do have as a pretty highly touted prospect, in my opinion. Phil Rowe, big for the division, looked a little gassy in that fight. Not gassy in that way, but gassed out in that fight. And Gabe Green took it to him. Gabe Green chased at a good trim. Props are available for this fight. And the thing is, I don't have a great read on this fight prop-wise. I like Gabe Green. He's Slimeball candidate number 1. I like Gabe Green. Johan's a guy that I looked up. He likes to wrestle. He has some power in his hands, but he just doesn't seem to put it together well. He's still kind of young. He's coming out of a gym I've never really heard of. Maybe he made his way over to Vegas here. I'm not really sure, but he's currently at a plus 115. So Gabe Green's even cheaper at minus 135 than when I had him at minus 145 yesterday. I just think Gabe Green's going to be better everywhere. He's going to be able to control it on the feet. Johan likes to wrestle a little bit, but I love his wrestling. His power is there. The knockout for him to win by knockout is plus 200. So the Vegas thinks that's the way he's going to win. Gabe Green has a solid chin. He took some big shots with D-Rod, who's a fucking big 170 and can crack. I'm not worried about chin there. I'm worried about maybe Gabe getting a little confident here, but he needs to put a run together. I think he knows how important this fight is. Guy coming off the Contender Series, You're a slight favorite here. You got a good win over Phil Rowe. You got to come in and make a statement here. He's a young guy. He's 10-3, good records, been in there with some good people. Gabe Green by decision, plus 330 kind of stands out to me. A lot of people saw him at knockout at plus 350. Wouldn't be mad at that. You're getting kind of a similar price. Either way, Gabe Green's my pick here. I looked at Johan for a second, for a split fucking second. I looked at the guy, and then I saw some tapes, saw the Contender Series fights, saw some fights outside the Contender Series. I'm just like, guy's a little stiff. He has power. He seems to be pretty big and strong, but his takedowns looked a little stiff to me. His striking looks stiff. Comes out with power. He does have power, but he doesn't seem super fluid to me. And I think a lot of those shots, when you're stiff like that, you're not as fluid. You can get red pretty easily. I think Gabe Green's at a good camp and high level enough that he's able to read these shots, stop the takedown, and kind of take this fight over where he wants to go. So again, Gabe Green, Slimeball candidate number 1. I like that fight. Mike Breeden, plus 170 versus Natan Levy, minus 200. Natan Levy let me down, man. Natan Levy let me down. This is Chris Curtis's guy. Chris was telling me about him. They trained together in Vegas. This is one of Chris's early training partners in Vegas. And I bet heavy on him. I went heavy on him in Rafi Garcia fight, and he didn't really show up. Didn't really do much. Lost a decision, but this guy wants to get to the ground. He wants to either control you or submit you. He's got some good submissions coming from the Contender Series. He won by arm triangle choke in the 3rd round. Has shown some gas. Took a little bit of time off. Got his UFC debut. Now he's against Mike Breeden here. Pretty good size favorite. Don't love the favorite, so I have him at minus 200. So he's now have since moved on DraftKings at minus 195. Mike Breeden will plus 165. Mike Breeden's fought a lot of good people, and his record's not terrible, but I just don't see it, right? He's 33 years old, which I don't love. He's coming out of James Krause's gym, which is a good gym, but his Alex Hernandez knocked him out in his UFC debut. Took down a fight in relatively short notice. And I think that he was just undersized a little bit in that fight. Anthony Romero, Contender Series was a shot loss. Got a lot of wins over in the LFA here. Brandon Jenkins, Cherwin Diaz, Henry Lindsay, Ivy Nixon, Lucas Clay. Lucas Clay's a pretty good prospect, I believe. Yeah, Lucas Clay's a pretty good prospect as a loss early in his career. But, I just don't see it, right? I just don't see it. He's never been submitted, I don't think. Yeah, so he's only been knocked out. So, but I don't know if he's ever fought a pure grappler yet. I'm sure Breeden has some kind of takedown background, wrestling background. And James Krause got him ready. James Krause got to have this motherfucker ready to fight Natan Levy's style. Natan kind of laid an egg for me. I expected a little bit more of Rafi Garcia, but Garcia just coming off a really good win himself. So I'm going to go Levy here. I'm going to go Levy, and let me see what the props is. Levy by submission plus 350. The shirt says value, boys. I like the value on that. That's a prop that maybe we'll talk about later this week, but plus 350, something interesting. Natan Levy to win by decision is plus 120. That's also a nice little number. I thought maybe him to win by decision was not going to be so nice because Breeden's never been submitted before, and Natan Levy doesn't have big knockout power. All right, next up, we have Daniel Da Silva. This guy's got 4 different names. On Tapology, it's Daniel Da Silva versus Francisco Figueiredo, Frankie Figgies. Minus 130 for Da Silva, plus 110 for Frankie Figs. This is the younger or older? Let me see. Younger brother of Devison Figueiredo, current 125-pound champion. And, Devison got all the talent, most of the talent. I'm not high on Frankie Figgy right here. Jerome Rivera was a layup win. Jerome Rivera, decent little fighter, I guess, but not a great chin. Didn't have a win in the UFC. That was his debut. Decisioned him. And then just Malcolm Gordon, who again had a rough UFC go for a little bit, beat him decision as well. He gassed out. His skills aren't all that great, in my opinion. I think his striking's not that good. His jiu-jitsu's not that good. Daniel Da Silva or Daniel Lacerda. There's 4 different names for this guy when you look him up. He made his UFC debut against Jeff Molina, got knocked out in the 2nd round. Competitive fight, but Molina is a stud. Molina has really good, tight boxing. All his fights before that were in Brazil. Excuse me, there was one. Oh, no, Shooter Brazil. Okay, yeah. All were in Brazil, and the records are, 4-2, 13-12, 20-11. So, again, he's not beating and fighting the best guys in the world. Minus 125 favorite, plus 105 on Frankie Fig. You got to think Frankie Fig, maybe he went to his brother in Arizona, right? Went to Henry Cejudo. Maybe they cleaned him up. Maybe you like the underdog number here. I'm a chalk boy. Even though I'm wearing a Value Boys shirt, I'm going to be a chalk boy. This could be a pass for me. I don't have a great read on this fight. I think Daniel Da Silva is going to win this fight. I think he's a little more talented, but there's just not enough for me to go on it because he fought Jeff Molina, who's a stud, and then Frankie Figgy's got 1-1 UFC against average competition. The Jerome Rivera fight, he didn't look all that great in. Malcolm Gordon fight definitely looked great in. It's tough. This is a tough fight to cap, because I'm not high on either guy, and I don't know enough about either guy. I can see here and watch tape till I'm blue in the eyes. I just still don't have a good enough read. But the pick is Silva. You'll go chalk. You'll go medium chalk or light chalk, minus 125. Props, I have no idea. Decision win by Lacerda, which is plus 275. You want to get a juicy number, go decision win. But again, not a strong lead on either of that. So I'm gonna go chalk there, boys. Sorry for letting you down. Went chalky. Gina Manzini. Is that how you pronounce her name? Yeah, Manzini, right? I feel like I said her name one time and Christian laughed at me. Gina Manzini. Gina Mazzani, maybe, versus Shannon Young. Mazzani minus 160, Shannon Young plus 140. Mazzani, I believe she's married to or dating Tim Elliott, and her last couple fights, she has looked in great shape. She's taken it super seriously. Maybe not saying she wasn't taking it before, but she looks to be in incredible shape. Coming off a loss over Priscilla Cachoeira, round 2 to Danny QTO. Before that was a nice stoppage over Rachel Ostovich, and she has been bouncing around wins and losses since 2019. Loss one, coming off a loss. So the MMA gods, the math is going to give you Mazzani here, and I think that's what it is. I'm going to pick Mazzani. Shannon Young, don't know a ton about her. Made her UFC debut coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. She's from Franklin County, Virginia, VA. Stand up, Timbo, VA. Coming off of one finish to Stephanie Egger, who's a legit prospect. Macy Shizan, who I'm high on as well, decision loss. So she hasn't had it easy in the UFC. And you look at some of the other records, Invicta, she was on that tournament, ran Maverick, got her rear naked choke. She's fought some really good competition. 7-4, not the best record here, but Mazzani is just, I feel like she's clicking now at that Krause camp. I saw her training with Laura Sanko. And again, Tim Elliott looked great in his past a couple times out. Physically, Mazzani has looked fantastic. Minus 160 is a good size number for her, which I don't love because I think this will be a little bit more competitive and maybe the line is going to say this fight is going to go to the decision. I think we all can agree on that. Over 2.5 is minus 175. I think that's a pretty sweet fucking number, if I'm being honest with you. Over 2.5, minus 175. That's the only prop I have available right now. Put that with a parlay of maybe Romanov getting a sub or some kind of finish. I know that's hefty. Put that with another one in a prop and just really build a prop parlay and fucking buy a mansion, buy a goddamn Rolls Royce, whatever you want to do. But I like the over 2.5 at minus 175. I thought that'd be a way bigger number, but give me Gina Mazzani there. I just got a feeling like physically she's looked really good. I know she's coming off a loss and Shannon Young has fought some fucking great competition. Fight will be competitive, but Mazzani physically, and I think mentally, maybe she's in the right place right now. So give me Gina Mazzani. What about it? Next up, Andre Fili versus Joanderson Brito. Great fight. Philly minus 260. I think one of the biggest favorites in the card, not named Alexander Romanov. Minus 260 is a good number for Andre Fili. 280 right now. Plus 210 for Jonathan. Joanderson. I just called him Jonathan. Joanderson Brito. Slimeball Cannon number 2 coming out of this fight. Can you take a guess who it is? It's Andre Fili, baby. And guess what? Locking him up. That's the lockup sound. My motor lock. When I saw this, when I looked at this last weekend, before I saw lines, before I saw anything, I'm breaking down fights, right? This fight stood out to me. I think Andre Fili is criminally underrated. And I think he's fought the best of the best, has lost some close decisions, been competitive in all his fights, including me. I have slept on him most of his career. I just remember him getting knocked out Yair, thinking this guy's chinny. No. This guy's a fucking dog in there, man. He's got good wrestling. His submissions, I wish, were a little better. He's coming off a Bryce Mitchell fight, which was close. Bryce Mitchell dominates that. Excuse me, the Pieta fight, which is actually an eye poke, which he was dominating. But besides that, Bryce Mitchell was just grounding him, but Fili was getting up. Fili was, in my opinion, gave Bryce Mitchell a really tough fight. I know Mitchell won by unanimous decision, but competitive throughout. Split decision whenever Charles Duran, very close fight. Sadiq Yusuf, another very close fight, a guy I'm high on. Knocked out Sherman Rights, which he's a huge underdog in. Miles Jury, which was a while ago. But he's only fought just the who's who, the best of the best, and he's only he's been finished by one guy, and that's Jair Rodriguez with a crazy kick. And Joanderson Brito little ball of fucking muscle, 5'8", 145, bricked up, just shit brick house. So shoot the box, say. This dude's coming at you, right? He's not taking a step back. Fought Bill Algeo in his debut. Algeo, long-rangey striker, similar to Feely, but I think Feely has better striking. Brito just seemed to step behind, and he was in there with a high-level guy. And then, coming off the Contender Series, Diego Lopez decision, technically unanimous decision. I forget that fight. I should have went back and watched it. Diego Lopez is a good prospect, 19-3. And then he's got some decent wins. He's come from the LFA, FFSC. My thing is a lot of guys that come from Brazil, they have a super padded record. They don't really fight that many people, but a lot of Jonathan Brito's fights happened back in 2018. 6-0 guy, 18-4 guy, 9-0. And then 9-3. Jose Mexico was a very good fighter. All these wins are 2019. Then he took 2 years off, got Diego Lopez, and now he's taking almost a year, well, not quite a year off. Yeah. No, never mind. Fuck it. What am I talking about? No. Biagio in January. So this little big ball muscle who only has one way to win. He wants to march you down and he wants to beat you up, maybe mixing some takedowns, but he's a bricked up dude and he's got one way to win. How does Andre Feely win? Well, Andre Feely's got fantastic kicks. He's got long range boxing, good wrestling himself, hard to take down, hard to hold down. If Bryce Mitchell had a hard time holding Feely down, I don't think Brito's going to be able to do that if you want to mix things up. Brito's going to come out 5'8", undersized, going to be swinging fucking bolos. I think Andre Feely's got to be very careful. He gets wide a little bit, but if he stays tight and precise like I think he will, I think he's going to win this fight. I like him as a Mortalock big here. Slimeball candidate number 2 as well. I like Andre Feely a lot in this spot. I have him written down here as sub. I usually, because this is what I do, a little insight of the mind of Brian Petrie here. So what I do, guys, is I look at the card, I print it out, and then I go through and I write down how the fight's going to end, how I see the fight's going to end. I just cap it that way, right? Just because I know all these fighters. And the fighters I don't know, I leave blank. Then I go do research, print on a new piece of paper, and then either change my pick or change my prediction or whatever. And then obviously after the research, we'll see what happens. So I've done that. And both times I've came back to Feely by sub. I think he can catch him with something, even though Feely doesn't have the most subs on his record. He's more of a knockout guy. He wants to catch him with a high kick. I can see a high kick happening. When's the last time he submitted somebody? Maybe never. Okay. So where did my sub come from? Does he have a submission on his record? Brian, what's happening? Okay, he lost the guillotine choke over Max Holloway, lost a triangle choke over Gordo Pepe. He doesn't have a submission on his record. Oh no! So the submission prop's probably fat. Andre Feely to win by submission 9-1. Listen, I'm gonna trust my read. I see a club and sub happening here. I think Andre Feely has some good chokes. He's with Alpha Male. He's got those long arms. Fuck it, club and sub, catch him up high with a kick, put him down, grab a neck. Hey, good night, baby. Either way, I think Andre Feely runs away with this one. I think he's a superior fighter who's fought the who's who at 145, is criminally underrated, criminally disrespected by yours truly. Not going to disrespect him anymore. Give me Feely minus 260 because I'm feeling good. That's why I messed up, is because I was trying to hit the Feely joke of feeling good, the little pun. So I fucked the whole thing up. That's what happens. I fucked the whole thing up. But give me Feely. I like it. I love it. I fucking love it. Lock him up. Next up, Jared Gordon versus Grant Dawson. One of the fights we broke down on the Anakin Florian podcast. If you haven't heard it, go listen. You probably heard it. I like this fight. Both these guys are very, very similar. Kenny and I were split. Kenny took Grant Dawson. I took Jared Gordon over 2.5. I think is money. I think Jared Gordon by decision plus 275 is money. It is going to be a grimy fight. I think you could even play split decision. I think some judges are going to have a hard time deciding who the fuck is going to win this fight. I think Grant Dawson is going to come out. He's going to control a measured pace in the first round. Second round is going to be a little closer. I think Jared Gordon's going to take over that third. Grant Dawson leaving Krause, going to American Top Team. Not really sure what's up with that. This was like Krause's homegrown guy. Maybe we'll find out some more on that. Obviously I know John will ask him when the fighting meetings. Maybe John will bring it up during the broadcast of why, he decided to make that move. He was undefeated with Krause. And it seemed like Krause is always in the coach of the year conversation. So it's interesting that he left. Maybe there was a training partner issue. Maybe it was because, you're not getting more like one-on-one at an ATT. ATT is a fucking mega gym. You're not getting more specialized attention down there like you would with Krause. So there's a lot of things I want to know about. But yeah, Kenny and I were split on this. So do what you want, right? Kenny's a shark. Kenny's a fucking brilliant mind. Jarrett Gordon is an underdog. I didn't give the numbers, plus 145, and Grant Dawson minus 165. Jarrett Gordon's now plus 155, so I have not moved any lines. No one cares. Everyone's disagreeing with me. But yeah, I mean, Jarrett Gordon has put on some good performances and shows up. You know what I mean? That's the thing. He shows up. Grant Dawson has faded a little bit, which worries me. And maybe at this new AT&T, he's getting this certain cardio and running outside in Florida weather. I don't know. But Gordon's in Florida as well. Give me Gordon as a grimy, slimy, dirty fight. That's a straight wager all the way. I'm going to play Gordon because of the plus number. I'm going to play him by decision at plus 275. And then I'll probably parlay that prop over 2.5 at minus 220 with several others to get a fucking juicy number. But this could be a scrap to the end. This could be a grappling battle. This could be a battle of fucking wills, baby. That's what it's going to be. And I like Jarrett Gordon. Next up, Jared Mearskart, GM3, baby, versus Christoph Jocko. Mearskart plus 150. Jocko minus 170. I think this line's moving a little bit. Nope, same exact. So I picked Jocko, or Scoop. Fuck, I didn't pick Jocko. I picked GM3 on the podcast. Gonna stick with it. And guess what, baby? You haven't heard from a little bit, but dogs. I'm the dog, the big bad dog. Oh, baby. Dog lock of the night, Gerald Mearskart. This dude is underappreciated. He is fucking good. He's fought everyone. He's a finisher. Jocko is not. He is going to control the pace here. He's going to slowly take over the fight. I like this fight for Jared Mearskart, and I cannot find the props. My eyes are failing me. Where are you at? Props? Trying to get my guy. Here we go. Props here. So Jared Mearskart by submission right off the jump is plus 300. What? Jocko's been submitted one time in his career. Notoriously hard to take down with that karate style. Keeps his leg longs against the cage. Mearskart, I think, has decent wrestling, but I think he has good striking too. I think he can hurt Jocko. Jocko's been knocked out before at least twice. He's been hurt in fights. He's been buzzed. So I like Jared Mearskart by knockout at plus 1,100 as well. 11-1, Jared Mearskart going to catch them hands. Typically what Mearskart does, he hands them, puts them down, jumps on a neck, jumps on an arm, jumps whatever. I can see that happening. So I will be playing by submission, but I'm also going to sprinkle 11-1. When you give me 11-1 with a guy who's been knocked out before and a guy who does not even have half the resume Jared Mearskart does, you're giving me 11-1 on anything? I'm going to hammer it, baby. So give me 11-1 Jared Mearskart. I think he's going to win by submission. I like the underdog play. I'm playing this several different ways. I'll share the ticket once I do it come Saturday. I've written down here again, sub. I think that's where we all our heads are headed because he's so good. But Jocko is a smart fighter, calculated, cerebral. He will know that Mearskart's looking for something. But man, Mearskart with those hands, he's a big guy, 185. He can crack a little bit. He's tough. He's going to come after Jocko, who I think has good kicks, but does not have great hands. I think he's going to get overwhelmed in there. I could be completely wrong, right? But I don't waver. I don't get along. Jocko's got man. It's going to be a close fight. I guess I lean this way. I ain't leaning no way, baby. I'm picking Jared Mearskart by finish. And I'm playing it 10 different ways, baby. I'm hammering this. I love this fight. The line was crazy to me. Not really sure what Vegas sees in Jocko. There's a lot smarter guys over there than me, but I'm looking to rob this one. I'm looking to take this one, Vegas. Give me Jared Mearskart as well. Next up, Darren Elkins versus Tristan Connolly. Darren Elkins minus 165. The damage. Tristan Connolly plus 145. I did not like the way Tristan Connolly looked on the scales the last time he weighed in. He's an older guy cutting all this weight. I didn't love it. He made his debut at 170 against Michel Pereira and won. Grappling guy, constantly grappling, takes a beating. This fight is a good matchup for both guys. I really want to see how good they're both really are. This is going to be a scrappy grappling affair. Darren Elkins is good on the ground. He takes your back. It's usually kind of death, right? Over 2.5 is minus 210. I like that. Darren Elkins by submission plus 550. I like that, but I like him by decision. I think plus 130 by decision. I think he's a dominate a lot of these exchanges. I think Tristan Connolly is a good wrestler, but I just don't think he's a good scrambler. let me take that back. I think he's a good scrambler. I just don't think he's as good as Darren Elkins. I think Darren Elkins is hard to hold down. And yes, he's old. And yes, his hips look like they need oil to move, but he's pretty crafty on the ground. I could be completely wrong here. Tristan Connolly out-wrestled and grappled Michel Pereira, who's fucking huge for 170. And this dude's fighting at 145, even though I don't like the weight cut for him. This is also going to be a scale fight. Check out the scale. Check out how sunken in Conley is as well. Then maybe you can make your opinion on that if you're split. Elkins is a good size favorite. Probably not going to bet this fight because I don't know if the judges are going to know how to score this fight. I don't see a finishing happening. I see a really heavy grappling exchange. Who are they going to credit the more grappling exchanges to? They're both good wrestlers. They're both good on the ground. I think stand-up is far and away not their strong suit. This might be the first time Darren Elkins might not bleed in the fight because Tristan Connolly's his stand-up's just okay. But, I wish there was a bet. I mean, I think he's going to bleed. He'll probably bleed the second he walks in the fucking cage. But, I mean, listen, he ain't fighting some big, powerful striker that's going to try to knock his head off. He's fighting a crafty guy that's going to fucking try to take him down. I like Elkins in the spot. This is probably going to be a pass for me unless I hit the over 2.5 at minus 210. But I'm going to put that with other things as well. Yeah, I like Elkins in that spot. Conley he took a couple years off. Let me see. What is his actual, what he was been doing? Because I don't know much about him. I watched the Pereira fight and I watched his last fight. His last fight against Pat Sabatini, who's a fucking stud, by the way. So he's only fought twice in UFC. That's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, Pereira back in 2019 took some years off. Sabatini, who's a fucking stud. He got knee barred by Shane Campbell back in the day. He's got Mario Pereira decision loss. Okay, so he's been submitted one time. Yes, I don't see a submission happening, even though Elkins is pretty good on the back. His fucking Tapology picture, Tristan Connolly, is badass. He's like doing like this WWE like camel clutch thing on this guy. That's a badass picture. Boondocks his nickname. But I like Elkins here. The shot worn Elkins, the damage. How old is Elkins? I always feel like he's 87 years old. He's 37 years old. That's it. He's only 2 years older than me. Fuck. Oh, he's gonna be 38 so he's 3 years old. He's gonna be 38 in May. But yeah, the damage is taking a lot of damage, and I mean, there's only an excuse of why he's got that tattoo. All right, co-main event: Jake Collier versus Andre Arlovski. Again, broke this fight down. I don't want to repeat myself a million times. Taking Arlovski here, taking him by KO. He's my final Slimeball candidate. Bada bing, bada boom. There's 3. I'll go over the Slimeball at the end of the show. I'll punch it in the DraftKings and we'll see the exact number. But I like Andre Arlovski big here. Jake Collier just is not a fucking heavyweight. He's not a heavyweight, boy. He looks like he's in a fat suit. I'm sorry, he does. You look at him 185, look at him at 205, he looks like he's in a fat suit. He's not a heavyweight, right? Andre Arlovski by TKO is plus 400. By submission's fucking 20-1 as well. I don't know if he's going to submit him. Arlovski does have nice little leg locks, but he's going to look. This is what Arlovski's going to do. He does it. This is his new game. He's going to stay on the outside. He's going to box you up. He's going to stay distance. He's going to box you up. He's going to box you up. If he clips Collier, then he's going to go for a finish. And I think that's going to happen. Plus 400 by Andre Arlovski. KO hasn't had one since 2015. Let's go, Arlovski, a beautiful son of a bitch. All right, main event time. Goddamn, this main event is fucking good. Woo! Again, if you're an MMA fan, okay, which you obviously are because you're watching me, and you're not jacked to the tits for this main event, there's something wrong with you, bro. There's something wrong with you. Marlon Vera, plus 115 versus Robbie Font, minus 135. Let me see the lines. If they moved, Rob Font, minus 140 is going up a little bit. Chito Vera, plus 120. Surprised by that. A lot of people I see are picking Chito Vera. I want to pick Chito Vera on the podcast. Kenny went first. Kenny, the fucking shark daddy that he is, picked Chito Vera. That's fine, right? 100%. To play the game, I'm like, I'm going to go Rob Font, right? Because I do think it is a very good fight. I think Rob Font is very skilled. I like Chito over 5 rounds. If this was 3 rounds, I'd probably lean Font. But 5 rounds, I think this is Chito's first time in 5 rounds. I think he's only going to thrive. He's a 5-round fighter. This is his moment. This is his first main event. I got to imagine his first main event. Kid's a fucking stud, right? He's younger than people. He's like 28 years old. Rob Font coming off a loss over Aldo. Got pieced up a little bit, but he's looked really good since he's come back. He's gone for a little bit. Good for the size of the division. So what I was going to do, right, is I was going to come in here and I was going to sit here and go, listen, I know I picked him on the Yannick and Florian. I picked Rob Font. But in actuality, I wanted Chito, so I'm going to pick him here on my podcast. No. I quickly shut myself down. I can't do that. I give out picks, and I mean my picks. And if I double flip cross my own picks, not everyone, but most of you that are listening or watching came from the Yannick and Florian. So you've already seen that. And then you saw me say Rob Font, and they're going to come on here and say Chito Vera. No. I ain't a fucking snake. So I ain't going to do that. So my official pick is Rob Font by decision. It's going to be a close fight. All I meant that was that is I do like Chito a lot. I'm not very strong in this fight. That's why I didn't put in a parlay. I will bet this fight. Probably fight goes to decision. I'm not going to pick a side. I think both these guys are durable. I think it's going to be a Rob Font fight early because Chito does start slow. A Chito Vera fight late. Who's going to win those first 3 rounds? It's going to be a fucking high-level fight. I can't wait to see that. See, I'm cussing a lot. See that? I need to cut back on the cussing. I realize that I cuss a lot, but I get excited. And the F words start throwing. My mom's from Long Island. She cusses every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's in my blood. It's baked in. So I gotta there it is. Gotta watch it. I'm going to try to watch it. I ain't going to say flip or anything. I'm just going to not use the cuss words. But I like Rob Font. I can't go back on it. I understand a lot of sharps, a lot of smart people that follow me. Kenny Florian, they like Chito on this side. I get it, 5-round fight, but I'm going to have it goes to a decision. I'm not going to take money line. My official pick is Rob Font. I think Rob Font's great, but I'm sustaining because I'm just going to enjoy it. It is going to be a fucking banger. A banger. All right, listen, here we go. So, dog lock of the night. Jared Merskart, GM3. I like him. I like him by submission. I like him possibly by KO, 11-2-1. Love it. Mortal lock, Andre Feely. I'm feeling it. Another pun. Hey, don't turn it off. And then send him home is going to be the new guy, Tatsuro Taira. I like this kid. I like to cut this kid's gym. That's what I'm saying. 22 years old, got the bowl cut, got the chakra. Looks pretty good for 125. Is a finisher in there. I just hope he doesn't get too excited in the UFC debut. But either way, I think that fight's not going to decision. Either way, you cut it. Send him home is that. So those are my 3 locks. Slimeball Parlay. Here we go. You ready? Get your pen and paper, baby. Get your pen and paper. I will tweet this out. I always say that I'm bad at it, but I will tweet this out. First, Andre Feely, mortal lock, -260. Of course, he's going to be in there. Andre Arlovsky, -145. I don't know how this guy who's on this crazy run is going to lead to a guy like Jake Collier. Maybe I'm disrespecting Collier. Probably am. Sorry, Jake, but give me Arlovsky at -145. And then Gabriel Green, -135 against the newcomer, Johan. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name again because I don't want to get made fun of. +307, 3-1 on your money, boys. 3-1 on your money. It's not as quite as juicy as last week, but 3-1. Put a couple unis on that, huh? A couple unis? You get 3-1? You're going to be buying a boat. You're going to be buying a fucking boat. All right, that's it. That's the show. MMA Takes Podcast and everywhere. If you want a Value Boys t-shirt, link will be in the description of the YouTube video. MMA Takes Podcast, IG, Twitter. I'm heavy on Twitter. So I do see your IG messages. I apologize if I get back to them late. But I am a Twitter boy. And then go rate and review on iTunes and Spotify. I'm at 51. Let's get that up. Let's bump it up. All right, boys and girls. I'll see you. Fun show. I'll see you. Let's get some money. Let's get some fucking money.